TechEd is in my hometown. It's really hard for me not to go, and being an MVP, I am given opportunities to work some of the booths. I'm going to work the VB.NET and C# booth this year, which is much better than last year since I was working the ASP.NET booth, which is not my area of expertise, but it does use C# code. So,
is there anything at TechEd that you're particularly looking forward to, or highlights that you've seen so far?
The highlights have been seeing a lot of people. One of the great things that I really like about TechEd is that I get a chance to see a lot of people based all across the U.S. that I don't get to see every week or every month, or sometimes I see them once a year at TechEd. I am deeply involved. I was one of the founders and organizers of 2 user groups here in the Southern California, Los Angeles area. Then I went on to get even more involved, so I'm now involved. I'm one of the main organizers of 2 code camps, one in San Diego and one up in Orange County, and we do those once a year. And then, as I said, I got involved with INETA. I was working on the board. Before that, I was a membership mentor, which is kind of like there's like one for each geographic area across the U.S., depending on how many user groups you have in an area. And so I had an opportunity to work with a lot of great people in INETA and learn a lot about user groups all across the country, and how what surprised me is that they look at things very differently. They have very different models for their success. And one of the things I tried to do at INETA was to exchange that information so that groups in other areas could try different things that they may not have thought of before. And that was really fun. I don't know if the best way to put this. I have something of a need for attention, I guess. Not as bad as like a full-on celebrity actor type person, but it does give me a chance to kind of get in front of people and talk about things I'm passionate about, get some attention, which I happen to like sometimes. In some ways, when you're a developer, you can often get kind of in a cocoon. You get kind of stuck in a little, your little cubicle, and you're writing code, and you don't get to really see things. And I found that I needed to get out and interact with live people more. And that's what I enjoy about community, is I get out and okay, it's all guys, there's not a lot of cute women in it, but I still get out to meet people, and that's important. Engaging with product groups, through INETA and through the user groups, I've always been able to do that. And I think the MVP award has helped me cement the relationship between me and a lot of the product groups. It gives me a chance to hear what's coming down the pike, have some influence on what they're developing. And because of my day job role as an MCT, so I'm in a training classroom, and most of especially in developer end, most training is with beginners. Not once you get to a certain level of understanding, especially programming models, .NET, most developers, I think, tend to go and do it on their own, or go to user groups to get ideas, and then they go look it up online. But the basic level of understanding, that is from classrooms. So I am able to take that classroom experience of those newbies, the people who have not programmed in .NET before, and take what I learn in the classroom and give it back to the product team and say, these are the things that newbies, that people who haven't done a lot of programming have trouble with, and hopefully have some impact on the product so that they can not only make it work for the high-end developers who know a lot of stuff, because that's a big hunk of MVPs, are people who are on the bleeding edge, who know everything. And yet I want to make sure, and I kind of see it as my role as the C# MVP. I'm the one that says, by the way, there are a lot of newbies and they don't understand this. So sometimes it's coming up with material that helps them. Sometimes it's having people from the product team come down to user groups. We've been able to arrange for About every release on Visual Studio, we'll get a couple of people from the product team to work their way through Southern California and do user group talks, and we'll like combine user groups and get a bunch of people together so it's worth their time. And then they can come down and talk about and get some direct feedback as well. And I think that's been my biggest value to the product team, and the product team's biggest value to me is, hey, I'm setting up the product team coming down and talking to you. So
Yeah.
it works out. I think it's a very good symbiotic relationship. VS10 is the big thing, so Visual Studio 2010. We have, as MVPs, we have talked about what might come after that, but if I told anybody, I'd have to kill them. Under NDA, sorry. But yeah, we've talked a lot about Dev 10, about Visual Studio 2010, what's in it, what's not in it. Actually, I learned something today. Compiler as a service is actually much cooler than I thought it would be. I kind of missed that at the MVP Summit.
Yeah. Oh, cool. You into gadgets? Any?
You know, it's really funny. For a developer who can program a cell phone, I still can't make my cell phone do everything it's supposed to do. I am cell phone illiterate, which is kind of weird, but no, I mean, I've been playing with Windows 7. I actually like it a lot better than Vista. It's fewer problems on installing, and I like the fact that it's actually substantially faster than Vista. So I'm really looking forward. I've installed the release candidate and very much looking forward to when the actual version comes out. There's a lot of nice UI features that, you know, and it's not huge changes, it's smaller changes, but they're smaller changes that fix things that were really annoying. So, or well, not really annoying, but were somewhat annoying. So they've been able to fix a lot of stuff and make it work a lot better. And actually, the speed is just the biggest thing that I can, you know, you put your laptop to sleep, which I do because I never shut it down. Just close the lid, it goes into sleep mode, and it comes up so much faster now. I got so annoyed that I like take my laptop to work and I open it up on my, you know, next to the desk, because I have since I'm teaching, I have a big computer that I have to teach off of, and then I have my laptop next to it where I do email and all the other stuff. Students do labs, I do email. And so having it, you know, opening it up first thing in the morning to look at email, and it would sit there and take forever to reconnect, and now it's like just like that. That I think is, the speed is probably the biggest thing I like. INETA, user groups, very important. That I think it's important in a lot of ways for developers to be involved with user groups and for user groups to be involved with developers. For developers, it allows you to keep your skill set up, to know what's coming down the pike, so that even though you may be developing on 2005 right now, and yeah, 2008's been released, and 2010 is coming out, you know, this year, next year, it's important that you know what products, what features, what is going to be available, because when you get a project, you're going to have to figure out what's the best way to do it. And if you know long term what's coming up ahead, even though you're 2 versions behind, you can still start to program and think about moving in the direction that's going to make your project more successful.